July 25th, 2024. It is currently 10:09 a.m. We are here at the Rota Central Justicia to conduct the budget hearing for the remaining agencies on Rota. With that, I now call this meeting to order. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce the members of the committee present here today. We have our, to the far left, Senator Selena Vivalta. To my immediate left, the Vice Chair for Fiscal Affairs, Senator Karina Magoftian. I am Donald Maloney, Chair for Fiscal Affairs, and to my right is Senator Dennis Mendiola. Senators Paul, Carl, and Jude are hereby excused, but with 4 members present, we have the quorum to proceed with today's committee meeting. To introduce staff assisting the committee, we have our Sergeant-at-Arms, Ben Terlahi, our legal counsel, Joe Bermudez, our legislative aide, Jolyn Duenas-Stagbo, our IT, Del Camacho, and our fiscal analyst, Dave Demapon. All right, members, with that, can I get the motion for the adoption of today's agenda?
So moved.
All right, motion was made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We now move on to public comment. Anyone from the public who wishes to make a comment today, please state your name and entity you may be representing. All right, looks like there's none. We will close public comments and move down to introduction. Good morning, everyone. Today we are closing out our budget hearing on Rota. We have the remaining 5 agencies that will come before the committee, starting off with the Department of Land and Natural Resources, followed by Community and Cultural Affairs, with the possibility of squeezing in Public Works, depending on the time, and then in the afternoon, at least we can guarantee that we'll listen to the Department of Public Safety and DFEMS. We have up first is the Department of Land and Natural Resources. It consists of, from what I see, 6 divisions. We have the agriculture. They requested for personnel for 15 FTEs, but was only allocated 12. While they've made a request for operational expenses, none was allocated. Fish and Wildlife is asking for 7 FTEs, but they were only allocated 5. Parks and Recs, they're maintaining their 4 FTEs. Similarly with the Soil and Water Conservation. Land Registration is requesting for 3 FTEs, but was only allocated 2. And then the overall DLNR administration is requesting for 30, but was only allocated 24. From our records, we have several revolving fund accounts with some balance in there. We have under the DLNR administration, there's about 1,300 that we're showing in there. Soil and Water Conservation, there's about 3,200. Under the agriculture, there was 35,000, and then about 400 under Fish and Wildlife. I do know that the acting director, the chairman for the Rota Municipal Council, Jim Atlick, is present before us on behalf of RD David Calvo. And so with that, I hand the floor over to the acting RD for any remarks.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, and members of this body. For the record, my name is Jim Michael Apalik, and I'm the acting President Director for the Department of Land and Natural Resources.
Thank you, RD. Thank you for the narrative that you've provided to the committee, which we received this morning, and we'll make those copies available to the members. Are there any? Well, I know you've requested for several operational budget as well as additional FTEs, but based on the current allocation and proposal by the governor, what does that mean for the department?
Especially the department's requesting for good amount of money because of the fact that right now we are lacking the disking service to give the service out to our farmers. So we're asking to get some parts for the 2 tractors that's currently down right now. And it's the fuel for the operation.
The disking service you're requesting is under what division?
That one falls under the agriculture.
I'm looking at your.
It falls under the equipment.
Right, I'm looking at the itemized breakdown of the equipment. I see 70,000 for a utility truck, 45 for a 4x4 truck, 15,000 for livestock equipment and loading chutes, and then 4,500 for welding equipment. You know how much the parts you need for the disking service will be?
The disking service, I believe the director is asking about 11,000 for the part itself for the Massey Ferguson.
Wasn't this, was this particular equipment, wasn't this purchased by the Rota delegation? Or was this just an older equipment?
No, we have the John Deere. I believe it was purchased by the delegation. That's the John Deere, but right now it's unoperable. It's down right now. So
The tractor is down?
the tractor's down right now.
So what about that equipment? What's the cost to repair that?
With that one, I believe that with that one it's mechanic. So Director Calvo had a communication with Patty Coleman from NMC Greece. They're gonna bring over a mechanic to look at their equipment at NMC. At the same time, they're gonna come and look at the Dillon, the John Deere one.
Do you
So
remember
right now,
when?
because of lack of funds, we cannot bring a mechanic to look at the actual mechanic to look at the tractor to find out what's the problem. So right now, just pinpointing what's the problem. They keep buying parts, and that's not a problem. So we need somebody to come in and just go directly to the problem and identify it, and then so we can get the correct parts.
I mean, I know that that particular equipment is fairly new, so do you know anything about the warranty maybe that's on it?
From what I know, that the warranty already
Expired.
expired already. So
What about fish and wildlife? I noticed that some of the equipment that you're requesting is for gears and computer supplies. Nothing in regards to anything for boats. Is your boat currently operable?
yes, it's correct. We just recently we were allotted from what's her name, Congresswoman Julie. She gave us funds to get some parts. Right now, the boat is working. So the only thing we need is fuel.
For Parks and Recs, I know you're requesting for several equipment. Are there any equipment right now that is operable?
I know that I believe there's only 2 bush cutter and 1 riding mower.
And they're all in
Yes.
working condition?
Recently purchased the 1 riding mower. So total of 2 bush cutters and 1 riding mower.
Okay. I know I mentioned this yesterday under your title as a councilman and under council, but in regards to Parks and Recs, do you know there has been any communications with DPL to do some sort of agreement to fund partially Parks and Recs?
I know, and I heard the director, he mentioned something about getting some resources from DPL, but they didn't hear anything back from DPL. I believe that he's going to work on that one, and I hope that DPL will come together, because all the lands that we're cleaning it doesn't belong to the department, it belongs to DPL. So those are tourist sites, recreation, or for the or for Magunta, for kids to be there to enjoy the park or whatever. So we still have to clean it, right?
Okay. Soil and water conservation, what are the progress of that division?
Right now,
What are they working on?
Myra has been moved to the Rhino Beetle office for her to concentrate in getting all those data, to prepare all those data regarding the soil and water conservation. So I don't have that information for you right now, Mr. Chair.
Wait, so you're saying Myra is assigned to CRB, but gathering data for soil?
Yeah, she's just there to at the same time to assist CRB because they don't have any secretary, and for her to fully concentrate on her tasks.
And CRB, the grant won't fund an additional FTE?
No.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we had a meeting yesterday with those people from Iowa, and I asked them for more FTEs for Rota. So they said they're going to look into it. Since the local government cannot afford to hire more people, so I asked them. So they said they're going to look into it.
Okay. And what about the DLNR admin? They're requesting for 6 additional FTEs. Can you elaborate on what are those positions? And
Actually, that one's not, everything's not for the admin. I believe that's for the heavy equipment mechanic. And under our culture, it falls under our culture, the heavy equipment mechanic, we have the forestry, and the heavy equipment operator 2. And then one with the fish and wildlife, requesting one new position. And then the other one is under the survey, land and survey. Because currently the land and survey, there's only 2 staff right now, and the lacking of the land investigator for that division, we're not able to do that part. I believe that Mr. Roman Magdones is wearing 2 hats right now as a lead surveyor for that division.
What? Sorry?
Lead surveyor for the division, survey division under land natural resources division of survey.
Now you said the Fish and Wildlife is requesting for one more position for Conservation Officer 3. Is that correct?
Correct.
I don't see any Conservation Officer 2, so would this be someone outside the department? Or will somebody who's a Conservation Officer 1 qualify for a Conservation 3?
Yeah, it depends on the qualification, because there's some employees that they've been in the system for almost 30 years and they're still Conservation Officer 1. So
Right,
that makes
but
them
isn't a
qualified.
prerequisite for an Officer 3 would be an Officer 2?
Yeah, because they're trying to move up the ranking in order for them to, for the lower ranking to climb up. So you need to, bring them up, and that way the lower ranking can be promoted to the next. Because we have one conservation inspector. So we wanted to become an officer, because the authority as an inspector, it's totally different from an officer.
Right. But, no, what I'm saying is that I don't see any Conservation Officer 2. And there's a request for Officer 3. And so, I just wanted to point that out.
Because if that position was to be given to the division, the other 2 that were there for about 25 years and plus, so if they move up to Officer 3, right, from 1, because they're right now, there's nothing WGI to move these people up.
OPM will allow for an Officer 1 to move up to a 3 without being an Officer 3?
It depends. I'm not sure if the qualification are qualified and they're reviewed by OPM then. But I believe there's a service already to cap.
Okay, thank you, Acting RD. I'll yield to the other members at this time. Recognize Senator Maduro.
Just more of a general questions and maybe one clarifying question. Rhino Biro na program kung na personnel kayo?
Right now, the Rhino Beetle, I believe they have 6 employees. 6 total of 6.
It's, maybe this question is kind of I don't think it's the right question, but I'm gonna ask it anyways. Na go the number of personnel para any in a program, is it sustaining the issue of the Rhino Beetle, or is it something that's a major concern for us to?
I believe that they need more staff. Right now, they need more staff
So
to really make sure that this beetle don't go all over Rota. So they're doing a lot to prevent this beetles from spreading out to Rota.
So through Zoom engagement, EOI, Manolim siya naman yun, promising na information ganun?
Yes, I asked them, to please consider and adding more FTs for Rota, because we really need, and we want to make sure that we protect the tree of life, which you see Nizo, right?
Yeah. And yeah, so the reason why I know is that I literally just came back from Guam, and man, it's a disruptive species, and that's something that I don't think Rota is ready for. At least we're not willing to sacrifice that. So it's Rhino Beetle program is 100% federally funded.
Correct.
Okay, so in terms of budget, just curious, what is the department's like major priorities? And if it comes down to us articulating the budgets, we have to remove some funding. Well, if I say major priorities, the other department.
Man, for me, Senator, total priority to come na the end is malala ta prioritas loki izota no farmers no zata na only this the often manonom itotota. So Rota is known for exporting a lot of produce para Guam. So that was in the big good though with the absence of the disking service, very disencouraging para the farmers. They're depending on us to give them the service. So that will lead to a lot of us to bring back economia and encourage the top of manonom. We really need the disking service. And most padante look in a sanitary field to move things forward.
I would imagine a few to ensure and enforce some of you guys is fiduciary duty. For example, with DLNR, is a fish and wildlife. It's an important division. So on that note, the Mizuno fees or fee collection, how is it looking like? Are you guys getting people to pay some fees, or are we? I understand that everybody's having a hard time. So are we collecting any for that?
Yes, Senator, we are collecting something very minimal because of the fact that the officers are there ready to work, and we have to pick up the truck that is ready to go and patrol and protect our resources. So unfortunately, they're not out there right now because of the lack of fuel. The only way we can get the revenues is to go out there and start enforcing, right? And have the people come in and register their casting, their giving, and everything, right, in order to comply to the 51. So with them sitting down right now, doing nothing because there's no fuel. So we're asking yes to please, if you have some, consider that's the only way we can have the revolving fund for the division. Not for us to move, we're not going to depend on your allocation of funds or what not.
Thank you. And one last question. So if it comes down to of course, we understand the challenges of the financial situation of the CNMI, we understand that. So if it comes down to being creative, go ahead, any idea of us generating any kind of revenue? Does it para subsidize? Is it the fuel, or is there any program plans to try and enforce, to try and generate some kind of revenue para Azudazit? Do you have any in mind, or is there any plans?
The only thing, Senator, we have everything in place right now as far as the enforcement side. But the lacking again, we'll go back all the way to the fuel. See, fuel mas problema. Going out there to work, it's not a problem. once we start going out there, we're gonna start collecting because we have these people to come in and get their license. We have the Alili, we have the WAF, all this stuff. They can come in and get their permit, but they're coming because the fact that so like just go and do it. It's okay. There's no fish and wildlife.
Thank you.
It's pretty hard to work with nothing.
Thank you. And again, this fiscal budget, the goal is to just try and have this discussion on hopefully we can generate some kind of plan. Maybe it's going to help us generate some kind of revenue. I got it. I mean, it's challenging. You need fuel. You need personnel. Morale is really low, and it's across the board. It's not just Rota. It's across the scene. My morale is really bad when employees are not getting what they're due. But given the state of the economy, now it's time for us to just kind of sit down and figure out how can we try and subsidize some of these revenue by producing our own. That's just kind of my goal here, is to just kind of open that discussion, and hopefully we can come to some kind of plans and hopefully see that addresses the issues. So thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for acting.
Thank you, Senator Medina. I recognize the Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chairman, and good morning, Acting RD. So here we are talking about the challenges of having access to fuel due to lack of funds. And then I'm looking at the proposed budget that was submitted, and it looks like there were, I think, 3 requests for vehicles. So one was under agriculture, and the other one was Parks and Rec, and the other one was soil and water conservation. So I just wanted to ask the question hypothetically, if we were to provide the funding for these requests for vehicles, knowing the challenges that you have now with access to fuel, how would that affect, I mean, you can barely get any fuel right now for your existing heavy equipment and vehicles. So if we were to give funding for the 3 vehicles that the department is requesting, how would you guys I guess address the fuel issue?
I'm gonna ask the mayor for fuel. But yes, the reason behind the utility truck that was requested by the mechanic, because when you go out on the field, right, and to rescue the disking service, it was especially stock or what you need to pull it up. So that's the reason why for that heavy duty utility truck for the substation for the mechanic to go out and rescue the truck should anything happen. Now for the soil and water won't have any vehicle right now. So that's why they're requesting now if there's any funds for it.
And I'm not, I have no doubt that the department is in dire need of these vehicles, right? I'm just trying to be realistic and make sure that it's sustainable. As you have mentioned, I think, some of the personnel aren't able to go out and, do their jobs because of lack of fuel, right? And so what we don't want to do is, purchase these vehicles only to park them and not utilize them as they were intended to. So I'm just trying to make sure that, whatever actions that we decide to take, that it's sustainable and it can be, and it will be useful, right? And I mean, and if you already had the conversation with the mayor, and, just I think to be mindful, we always want to make sure that the person or the department that's gonna absorb these additional costs are in the loop, because they too have already have a planned budget. So to just bring these unforeseen expenses, right, can be very detrimental to the whole budget planning. So I'm just simply trying to understand, like, if we were to provide the funding for these requests, how will the department be able to provide the fuel for it if it's already struggling as it is right now? So, and then I have no further inquiries about the the proposed budget, except that, and I think this is across the board, the utilities line item is zeroed out, and I think the understanding is that the mayor would be the one to pay for these, right? And so with that understanding, I just thought I'd ask, do you know if the DLNR or any of its divisions have any outstanding balances? And if they do, would you happen to know what those balances are?
No, not that I'm aware of. There's no balance for the department.
So you guys are all caught up with your utility bills?
Yes, the mayor's the one that's taking care of
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and even the phone line too, the mayor's taking care of that one.
Okay. Thank you for your answers then. I leave it, Chair.
Thank you, Vice. I recognize Senator Babal.
Thank you, Chairman Mingo. Let's get down to the weeds, as they say. Currently, how many employees does the agricultural division have?
The agriculture currently has 12 employees under agriculture.
What about fish and wildlife?
The total of 5 for fish and wildlife.
Parks and Rec?
You have 3, or no, 4, my bad, 4.
Soil and water?
1,
And non-registration?
2.
How about, okay, let's go down to machinery, tools, and equipment. You're requesting 89,900 for under agriculture. What type of machinery is that you're needing that funding for?
That funding actually is for the parts, the 2 tractors right now that we're trying to revive. So that's the reason when their parts are not cheap. So you go by the thousands when it comes to heavy equipment.
And do you have specific parts that you actually need?
I know that the Massey, is somewhere in between the transmission. It needs a part for the transmission. And now for the other, the John Deere, we're waiting for Miss Patty Coleman from NMC Greece to come in to bring the mechanic, because we don't have a certified mechanic to look into the John Deere. So we don't know actually what is the problem, because they keep buying parts and it's the wrong parts. So the truck was not able to move.
So this $89,900 request under agriculture for machinery, tools, and equipment is not tied in any way or connected to a specific part. It's just a blanket request. There's no
Yes,
quotation,
yes.
no.
So now the only time we'll know is when the mechanic really assess what's the issue, then that time we're going to go there and do a quotation to get the parts.
So what happens if the parts are, let's say, 50,000 as opposed to 89? What would agriculture do with the excess 30,000?
We will ask the delegation to give us some money.
No, what if this request, 89,000 is excess of what, the parts are actually going to cost? What would agriculture do with the excess of $30,000?
We will use it for fuel,
For fuel.
yes. And maybe to pay the mechanic to install the parts. So we don't have certified mechanic in Rota in regards to this
And
heavy
you're
equipment.
also requesting for additional position for a heavy equipment mechanic, is that correct?
Yes, currently we only have 1 that's operating, and the other one's under medical. So he's not able to get in the truck and because he's been doing it for 25 plus years.
And is there one locally that can be hired if the additional FTE is granted?
Yes, there's a lot of people looking for jobs, but there's,
But are they certified heavy equipment mechanic? Because maybe that's part of the issue, is that they're not a certified heavy equipment mechanic. And they keep asking you to buy parts that are not needed and that's why the tractor breaks down. So that's why I'm trying to tie in your budget request with what is actually the need of the division.
we do have 1 mechanic right now.
But is there another one? You're asking for another
No,
position?
there's no other, only 1. And we're asking for another one, which is for the operator to operate the tractor.
So it's not a mechanic,
No, not mechanic.
but the request is for a heavy equipment mechanic, not an operator. Isn't that what you stated earlier?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that one's having, that's vacant position. There's one vacant position now.
But is there one locally in Rota that you can immediately hire if this position is granted?
Hopefully,
That's a tough sell because
it's not, because when we open this position, it's not only open for Rota, it's open for the entire cinema. So if somebody's interested, they're gonna come over to Rota and work in Rota, so
I see.
we get shop around with Tinian and Saipan with their mechanic, right? Steal them and bring them over with a good salary.
I see your point. So at least now we know under agriculture division that the 89,000 is not tied to any quotation or specific part that you have a price for already.
No.
Same thing, what about Fish and Wildlife? You're requesting for 8,500. Do you know, can you tell us more about that? What is it for?
Okay, for the, for the Fish and Wildlife, us enforcement, we go out there, we really need our protective gear because we're out there working, we're dealing with poachers, right? People that are armed. So, we need our protective gears, and those gears are pretty expensive. Just having those bulletproof vests out there, you want to come up to your family. So those equipment is very important for us. And the Second Amendment, the right to bear armed, there's a lot of high power rifle that are out there right now. People don't want to go to jail, especially if they have one sack of fruit bat. I don't want to go to jail. So things like that, they're gonna react to the enforcement. So I'm asking the department and the members of this body to please consider it, because our job is very, very dangerous. I have my little ones to come back to.
So you currently have 5 employees on the Fish and Wildlife, you're requesting for an additional 2. Are they for enforcement, are they for admin, are they?
For enforcement, Senator.
Do any of your 5 employees for Fish and Wildlife incur any overtime?
No.
Okay. So can you help me understand why you would need 2 additional?
Because
FTEs?
the 5 officers not enough to do a 24/7 enforcement right now. We're very, very short. Just having these 5 officers, and every day you don't guarantee these officers to come to work, especially if you're on schedule, and one will call in sick. So there's only 2 of you in the shift, so you're not going to be able to do by yourself, because it's a body-to-body situation that you have when you go out there.
Okay, let's move on to Parks and Rec. You're requesting for 21,000 for machinery. What type of machinery are you asking for Parks and Rec? Oh, the riding mower, which color, right?
Yes, correct.
21,000. How many riding mowers are you looking at purchasing if you are given the 21?
Maybe 2 for like diesel industrial riding mowers.
How many do you currently have?
1. And then we don't just rely on, we want an extra to make sure that we go out there.
You mentioned earlier you had how many push cutters?
2 for Parks and Recreation.
And is this 21,000 only for lawn mowers, riding mowers?
Yes, you don't know how much those industrial ones, so that's pretty pricey.
Okay. Vehicles, you're requesting 45,000 under agriculture. What type of vehicle are you?
That will be the utility vehicle, which is for the mechanic to go out and rescue the tractors. Should there be any problem out in the field.
And Parks and Rec is also, you're requesting 45, another 45 for a vehicle. What type of vehicle are you looking at?
Or the one to haul the tractor, mower, and equipment from parks, recreational facilities to job sites. So,
How many vehicles do these 2 divisions currently have?
for the parks,
Yeah,
we currently have 1.
1. How about agriculture?
Agriculture, well, one SUV.
Does Fish and Wildlife have
For fishing wallet, we have 2 vehicles.
Soil and water conservation, how many vehicles?
0.
Land registration.
They have land registration, for the survey division, they do have 1 vehicle.
Okay. What is your average cost of fuel for agriculture per month or per year? I'm sorry.
I would say maybe like 10,000.
Per month or
Oh,
year?
per month, right? You're talking from maybe like
Per year.
3, per year, like 10,000. Depends, because when it comes to agriculture, you share all the fields to all the divisions.
So that's average or
And
an estimate, right?
and the diesel itself too, right? It's very pricey here in Rota, so that's why we're asking that amount.
So the total ask for the fuel alone for the entire department is about 58,000, is that correct? Yeah, it's about 58,000 just for fuel.
Yeah, correct.
Do any of the divisions incur overtime? Employees?
No.
That's all I have for now, Mr. Chairman. I'll yield for the second round.
Thank you, Senator Rota. Acting Auditor, do you have any information as to the revolving accounts?
I know that for Fish and Wildlife, we have, you mentioned earlier, $400, and then we have one with the disking service. So with the disking service, I mean, the 2 equipments being down, we're not able to make any funds for agriculture site.
But do you know if that balance that was reported is still current for agriculture at 35,000?
I need to check with Mike. Mike's the only one that has an access to the munis, so I don't have that.
So the 400 that's in your Fish and Wildlife, is that all locally generated fees, or is that a portion of a CNMI-wide statute?
No, that's locally. Those are the fees for the gas net unit and all the stuff. And
Do
then
you know how much you collect on average a month?
no, sometimes 0.
Has there been any changes to the fee structure for the different licenses?
Negative. It still remains the same.
Has it been proposed to the secretary to see whether or not to increase or change some of these fees in order to accommodate the needs of your division?
No, but I've been asking the director to ask that question in that way, because the $10 fee is too small. Even the disking service, $8 per hour. You can't even buy the parts. So it goes back, same thing to Fish and Wildlife, where we cannot do the operation with a very minimal fee.
For Fish and Wildlife, have you asked the mayor for assistance with fuel to take the boat out?
We did ask her once, so she gave us. Then we went out and just run the boat. So the boat's really running good right now, good condition.
Okay, but how often does your division patrol?
It depends on the water. If the water is nice, it's in our favor, then we go out and do the patrol around the island. But having a single engine and so many hours into it, we're kind of hesitant to go to where there's no service, like back there, to patrol and to intercept these fishermen that are coming in from elsewhere to fish on Rota, most especially using the scuba tanks. So those are
So
the
there's
fish-
no reserve fuel for if and when Fish and Wildlife has to go outside and
We don't have that, Mr. Chair. There's no reserve fuel for the enforcement.
is that a request that can be made with the mayor?
Yes, if we're requesting the mayor is gonna give us fuel, but it's always best to top it off, and it should be any call at any time we're ready to go out.
Okay, so why hasn't that conversation happened yet in regards to topping off the boats? in the event there's any violations out there.
After this meeting, we're going to go ahead and make that request to the mayor.
Thank you. Your conservation areas, are they still being maintained?
Yes, correct.
So like the wedding cake and the grotto, those are maintained?
Yes, the trail is maintained.
And even as recently,
I haven't been out there, Senator, for a while, but those people that are going in to hike, they said the trail is still good.
okay. Are there any information out there for, say, incoming, tourists that comes in that are interested in something like that, an excursion to hike and to know that they'll visit your office to sign a waiver, or, are there any collaboration with maybe MVA or other private entities that would like to take visitors up there to hike?
Yes, we're receiving a lot of calls from different, like, let's say the type shops, they'll tell them, hey, you gotta go back there and see this trail, they'll come over and sign off.
Maybe something that could be discussed that could also generate some fees for your division is, and discussion you can have with the secretary is to maybe charge a fee for entrance into the grotto or the wedding cake for the purposes of continuing to maintain that area. As you may have heard that we've had discussions with NVA and other partnering agencies to provide for more activities for visitors to Rota and, promoting ecotourism. And I know that the mayor has cleared out Tewksbury and Small Island to allow for campers during large events where hotels are not available. So maybe providing the additional excursions to visitors would generate a few money here and there to provide additional support to your division. So maybe that's something that could be looked at, and then allow for MBA or other entities to promote it so that we can further entice our visitors to come in and enjoy the beautiful scenery that we offer. So, how often do you get reports of illegal fishing?
And if the water is calm, we'll receive maybe like 10 or more calls into the division reporting that they sighted some vessels by Alagan Bay or Pursuit Cherry. So, like I said earlier, with the absence of the field, we cannot respond to those calls.
So even when you, at any point you had fuel, have you ever come across these?
Yes. Senator, we responded, I believe, twice, and we did intercept these vessels. But in the course of investigating, there were actually two vessels that were back there, and the other one fled the area. So the only vessel that we inspected is the one where the fishermen are in, and we did not find anything that's illegal in that or equipment. So we intercepted them twice already.
What about data on your overall, I don't know, citation or confiscation or, of any activity that is being regulated by your division?
But I would say we can have a lot, but unfortunately, the absence of the field, we're not able to go out and issue some citations. So as of right now, I'll tell you it's zero.
So how is your division able to open and close Savannah if that's the case? Or are you still opening and shutting the gates?
Yes, correct.
So where are you getting your fuel for that activity?
The mayor's office.
Okay. And you still do that daily?
Yes, for every, I think, 3-4 days, I get like 5 gallons. Do that operation, and that's every day, in the morning and in the evening.
Okay. All right, thank you, Acting RD. Any other questions? Recognized Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I just have some follow-up questions. So, for agriculture for the 89,900. I was just curious, does this include, I know that it's for the parts for the two tractors, no?
Correct.
Okay, does this include labor?
Yes,
Okay, and so I'm just curious, how did you guys arrive to this amount, 89, based on what?
based on the parts that, because like I said earlier, the parts they go by the thousands, right? So that's the reason why we asked you guys for more, because of the fact that in between that 89,000, you have the levers to play with the money. So Senator Celia mentioned earlier that if it exceed that, and we can do anything, right? Or if we have left over from that funding, we can always get the mechanic to come and put in the parts for the.
I'm just trying to understand the thought process when you put the 89,000 out, like, is it because you guys looked at some similar parts and
Correct.
just get an idea of
Correct.
what those parts would look like or how much it would cost? And then, so I'm sorry, so does this include labor? No.
Yes, that's
Oh, it
including
does.
labor, yes.
Okay, and then you have an estimated number of hours for the labor portion of the repair.
It depends on, because bringing mechanic from Saipan, you have to give them the whole 9 yards, right? To take care of them, housing, everything, and all the stuff per diem. So it depends with the job too itself, it's gonna take 3-4 days, so it
I'm
depends.
just trying to understand how the breakdown
Oh,
came to 89,000, right? If the 89,000 is for parts, how many parts did you estimate within the 89,000? And then for labor, I don't know how much is the hourly rate for labor such as this, but I'm sure that there was a process, right, that was used to determine what the estimate, it's just an estimate, right?
correct.
So it could be like 5 parts for the 2 tractors, I don't know, I'm just guessing. And then based on that number, probably the parts are in the thousands, you said, so it could be like 2,500. So
Yes.
2,500 times 5, that would give you a number. And then for the labor, it might be more than, I don't know, 40 hours, 50 hours, times, I don't know what the hourly rate is, $20, $30. So I'm just trying to do the breakdown and see how we arrive to that number. But, so if in case, let's say we did give you the 89,000, and if the cost is greater than 89,000 to fix the 2 tractors, what's plan B?
Plan B is to find another resource to make it enough to get the parts, and because getting the parts and getting that tractor run up and running, I'm pretty sure that our community will be very happy,
Okay.
that get their service back.
Yes. I understand the need for the repair, so I'm just trying to see, what would happen if it wasn't enough, and then where the additional funding will come from. But I'm sure, you guys will figure out a way. You guys are very resourceful and resilient in times of hardship, so I have no doubt that you guys will figure it out. I'm just, for the purpose of this budget hearing, we're just trying to hear and understand what those challenges are, and it kind of gives a heads up to the Rota delegation, right? That you may be soliciting some funding assistance from them to subsidize or supplement the shortfall. So, and then the next one is the riding mowers. They're similar in question, right? How did you arrive to this amount? Did you guys take a look at maybe online and see what's the going rate for a riding mower?
Yes, I believe Mike came from the procurement, is the one that did the price quotation, so
Okay.
that's how he came about the price, because it's a diesel, it's industrial quality one, right?
Yes. And that's exactly what I wanted to hear, I'm glad to hear that it was procurement who did the inquiry to get an idea of what this would cost, right? Because it justifies the amount that's stated on the request. And then last is, I'm not sure if you did answer this already, but there was a $50,000 request for technology equipment under land registration.
Oh, that's for the, right now, because, see, Roman, he's AutoCAD or something like that. I believe it's down right now, so.
I'm
That's
not-
one equipment that he uses to do his, survey.
Oh, survey, it's a surveying.
Survey equipment, that's AutoCAD. I don't know how that one works, so,
So
yeah,
is
it's very expensive.
50,000 to repair the equipment or to purchase a new one?
I believe to purchase it, I need to look into that, but yeah, it's better we get him the new one, and that way he will be able to do his job, better with working equipment.
So are you saying this equipment is currently down? It's not
Yes,
operable?
currently, yes.
How long has it been inoperable?
It's, maybe over 3 years, I believe.
Over 3
Yeah.
years. So what have you been using to survey?
I believe there's two equipment. One is the one to survey, and the other, the AutoCAD, I believe it's in the table.
Oh,
Some, yeah.
okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for
Yeah.
the answers. I yield.
Thank you. Recognize Senator Medina.
Just clarifying question. So I know we're talking about the tractor, and I'm just kind of curious, just to kind of get an idea of how many, do we have a set numbers of farmers that we're servicing? Is there an excess amount of requests for the services?
Yes, Senator, there's a lot of it paid for the service already, but we're not able to provide that services. I believe it's more than 30, 40 people that requested, and they're still waiting and online for years. And you're already complaining, you're calling in the office, what's going on? So, we'll tell them that the tractor's down, we can't do it. Or maybe if the tractor's not down, there's no diesel. So, okay, we'll get you fuel, but get the fuel and then the tractor's not working. So
Thank you.
there's a lot of complaints, Senator.
And just because of one of your responses, kind of like something that we need to consider is if people are paying and we can't provide the services, maybe something that we can suspend for now, just so that we don't have any
Correct. Senator.
legal.
You're not accepting any service right now from or payments
and those,
until they clear the roster, the list. Yes.
and those people that paid, did we return their funds for now, or?
I don't know how it works with the government. You do the refund or something, but they're still waiting for the service. They want the service.
Okay. So they're waiting on it.
Yes,
they're
correct.
patient enough. Okay, that's good. I just want to make sure that it's not something that we're gonna face down the line to another legal issue, and it's not. Now we go from needing a tractor to now we need a lawyer also to represent the agency because we're accepting funding and we're not providing the services. So just something to think about. Mr. Chair, Director, thank you. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Medina. I recognize Senator Bello.
Thank you, Chairman. Communications, you're requesting 3,500 for agriculture. Can you elaborate on what communication expenses you incur for the division incurs?
Currently, that's 35,000 right now, Senator?
3,500.
35. Okay, so with that one, we have the Fish and Wildlife line, and we have one at the main office, and the internet service that we have.
Just for agriculture, Division of Agriculture, you're requesting for 3,500.
Yes, because the agriculture is the one that's paying for everything. For the Division of Fish and Wildlife, the soil and water, all the internet service.
They're in the same office?
Yes, correct. The only office that's separated is the Fish and Wildlife office, separated from the central, at Lizu, the old house,
Yeah.
high school.
Okay, but agriculture is paying for
Correct,
all the divisions,
correct.
and 3,500 is requested. But there's also a request for 2,500 under communications for Fish and Wildlife, and that's because they have a separate building, is that correct?
Yes.
How many cell phones, let's say agriculture, there's 12 employees, how many government paid cell phones are there?
There's one currently with the resident director. There's only one.
What about Fish and Wildlife?
We don't have,
So you're
cell.
all using personal
Yes, correct.
phones? Soil and water?
No,
Okay. So this pays for internet and cell phones, correct?
yes. And I'm sorry, the substation has another phone too. Substation.
for
That's where the mechanics at. They have
One cell-
one phone line. No, not the
Phone
cell
line.
phone, but phone line.
Okay, and of the limited number of cell phones, are the payments current at this time? Is there any delinquent?
Correct, it's current right now.
How many total phone lines are there at the main office?
We have one,
One line,
yes, including
Contact.
internets for each division.
but
They-
one phone line to contact agriculture, one line to contact parks and Recs.
Correct.
They all share the same line. Good. Thank you. How many MOUs of the total number of employees for the entire department, how many MOUs?
We don't have any MOUs, Senator.
And in the mayor, you guys rely on the mayor heavily for shortfalls, right?
Yes, for now, but
Yeah.
hopefully we have.
What types of shortfalls do you guys incur?
It's just the office equipment, and especially fuel. That's our main challenge right now is fuel and the office equipment such as the printers, inks, and all the stuff. So we're not able to provide everyone
Sure.
just because we're short. Some of the printers are currently down because there's no ink.
Have you ever reached out to, let's say, DLNR SIPA to assist with some of these minor like ink, computer printers?
I'm not aware of the admin side, but I know the Fiscal Walla said we asked Saipan already for assistance, and even them too, they did not. They said they don't have, so. On the Fiscal Walla side, we asked them for fuel, but they said nothing, so.
What about other needs, like ink for your printers?
No, I believe maybe the secretary or, no one, they won't know about that one, I don't know. But it's good, it's a good idea to ask them,
I hope
their
so.
resource, yeah.
I hope you reach out to not only SIPA, but Tinian counterparts. We're here to help each other.
Correct.
So I hope you guys look into that and be resourceful in reaching out to your parent department or anybody for that matter, to assist with other minor needs. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. I yield.
Thank you. If there's nothing else from the members, this time I want to thank you, Acting RD and Councilman Jim for stepping in today on behalf of the RD Cabo. If there's anything you feel that you've missed or that we failed to ask here today and you'd like to share with the committee, please feel free to reach out. And if there's anything of significant changes to what the House will propose versus the governor's proposal, we'll reach out and see how that'll affect you guys. And so at this time, again, we want to thank you for your time here today. And if there's anything you'd like to close with, I'd offer you that now.
I'd like to thank the members of this committee. Thank you for giving us the opportunity and to hear our concerns and issues that are under challenges that we have in our island of Rota. And I hope that maybe we'll have some, hopefully, with the Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, Acting RD. At this time, we'll take a 3-minute recess or 5-minute recess to hear out the next department DCC. Thank you. I'll rise back from recess, and up next we have the Department of Community and Cultural Affairs. We have the acting director present with us, who's also our councilman, Jonathan Nazama. Thank you for coming in today, Councilman. And under the budget submission, there are two divisions. We have the HPO and the Sports and Rec, which handles the administration. Is that correct? Correct. And under the HPO, they've requested to maintain their 3 FTEs with the governor's proposal, also agreeing with the allocation inclusive of the funding associated with those positions. Under the HPO, there's a request for 12 FTEs, but was only allocated 9. Oh, I'm sorry. No, there's 3 divisions. So we have the HPO, Sports and Recs, and then the administration. Administration is requesting for 12. They were allocated 12. And as we've seen with all the other agencies, no operational funds were allocated. And so before we proceed with any other questions, acting director, do you have anything you would like to share with the committee?
I just want to say again to the committee, welcome, and thank you for being here to listen to our concerns in respective departments. My name is again Jonathan Lizalma. I am the acting resident director, sitting in for our resident director, Crispin Olgo, which is on medical leave. And just our mission statement for this year, we're very flexible team. The mission for the Department of Community and Cultural Affairs is to oversee the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Island function in the area of human and social service, historic and landmark conservation and preservation activities to preserve Chamorro and Carolinian heritage and tradition with respect to Article 6 of the Sinamay Constitution. So currently we have 12 FTEs employees under the Rota account in the Department of DCCA, and then we have total of 12 under the Saipan account. So total we have 24 civil service employees under the Department of Community and Cultural Affairs in 9 divisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Artie, acting Artie. I know that you filled in for the Artie for about a month and a half now. And so at this time, in your role as acting Artie, what are some of the challenges that you're currently facing? Seeing as how the budget may be, next year's budget may be similar to what we're seeing now.
So right now, our challenges are in the Office of the Aging. Right now, we're currently only, we have one cook that is operating right now for the Aging Center that is certified and in food handling. We have one that has resigned already, and we are trying to have that FTE expedited, and examination right now is currently in the governor's office. So we're asking if we can expedite that FTE so we can look for another cook for the Aging Center. And also, we are currently have one employee under the food stamp NAP, and she is actually currently handling the child care program. So I believe there's one FTE under the food stamp, and it would be, see if we can open it, if that FTE right away. Right now, I think that is, I believe that there's an agreement between childcare and the food stamp, or childcare will shoulder that one employee, and the FD for food stamp will be open, and we're just requesting if we could, maybe speed that up to, and also we're in communication with the Secretary's Office, TCCA, on speeding that up and getting an employee into the division.
Okay, how long has this, that good
Right now,
position been,
it's been, I think, a month and a half already a month and a half, or two, we're heading into 2 months with the FTE.
and the last, no location of those documents are at the governor's office?
Right now in routing, so it is now at the governor's office, and we're just hoping that it can, because the staff are overwhelmed in the aging center doing preparing all the food, which not everybody can handle because of their certification or your food handling certificate. So it's again very they're having a hard time right now. So, but they're pulling it off. Is they're having success, but it's again taking a toll of them. They have to be earlier than what they're supposed to be. The time of coming in early, preparing food and everything like that for delivery.
Right. Yeah, I know I'm familiar with the other position, Ms. Ogo's position. I know our fiscal analyst has been in communication with OMB. There might be some discrepancy that we have to look further into. While we know that Ms. Ogo has been paid under the federal program, for some reason, the local account is still showing that the account is has been overexpended. And that may be because of some of the benefits were miscalculated, but that's something that we're still looking into. I know RDO brought that to my attention a few months back, and so till today we are still trying to get to understanding why there is that negative balance in the account, but that account hasn't been paying for Ms. Ogo's position. So those are the two issues, right? The cook and then Ms. Ogo's position?
Yeah, for the food stamp services.
Okay.
And also one more, there's another FTE that for admin assistant for the department.
Is that a position you're requesting or is it currently being
It's
filled?
currently in the, so the employee has resigned from that position.
Just recently?
Yeah, like a month, already a month ago. So it's total of 3. From
But
food
are
stamp, a cook and the admin assistant.
Has that position been announced already? To an
And
admin?
it is still together with the cook at the governor's office.
So there's already somebody that you selected for that position?
No, we haven't. We haven't.
Or
opened
just
it
the
up.
JVA?
Yeah, we're just waiting for the examination and have it
Okay.
open, and that's when we can do the interview.
Okay. What's the position called again? I'm sorry, administrative assistant?
Yes.
What about operations wise? What's some of the challenges that you have, including sports and rec? I know that you are in charge of maintaining the
So
facilities.
our department actually is more about outreach, outreach to our community. DCCA is just basically helping the community and social servicing, and also practicing the preservation and of our heritage and culture. Basically, it's more of our fuel. Our fuel, we're not asking for that much, but just to service our fuel, so we can go to and also the positions that everybody has. We are like we are coordinators. We are historic agriculture, historic preservation. What do you say? Workers. We are not we're not like maintenance, so we actually have to, clean our site, so that adds in fuel to our project. Or we have to clean, like for example, DCA Sports Division. They are coordinators, they're sports technician, and administrative officer. But we do a lot of maintenance. We do a lot of restarting, cleaning the sports facilities. I know it's under the sports and rec, but again, we're just trying to help each other in just trying to complete our area as a whole. And that's what we continue to do. The department is lacking, I guess, FTE due to the demands of our community, like sports, uh, it's just, again, it's just our operation. So a lot of us are forcing ourselves to cross-train. You know what I mean? So if I'm an arts coordinator and sports division is short, I'm certified umpire, which I just volunteered myself to be certified in sports games. So I come out and assist the sports division, which is fine. That's fine with me. And if it's fine with the department, then we're good. So that's the challenges we have. So we work really hard in that department. And I feel for all the employees and staff. But again, just maybe we continue better communication with our executive director, our secretary. Maybe we could get some help and also our leaders.
Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing and for filling in the gaps. And as much as we want to try to support, we are also happy to hear that you've been able to find other resources to assist along the way. One thing that I wanted to bring up to your attention with one of your divisions, I'm looking at HPO. There wasn't any request for operational funding. Is that?
I mean, as a DCC as a whole, when we're requesting for operation, we're
Lump it into-
we'll go straight to the admin and the division if they need some fuel, we'll just go straight to the admin and request.
Okay.
Right now, as of this year, I mean, that hasn't been happening. We're trying to limit our operation because of the fuel. We get help from other divisions. So that's how we basically do it. So there's some divisions that are being taken care of from Saipan and from the executive director. Not all divisions, which like you're saying, HPO and the sports division under the Rota account is zero. So HPO and the sports division are like really, really active divisions too for the community. And sports is just again so high demand for our small community, which we just need to continue taking care of our youth and keep them in physical fitness and things like that. So we try our best. I try to tap into little pockets, and bring it together, and so we can be successful in what our mission for our community.
Okay. Thank you. Do you know if at least the HPO division, how much support they're getting from the main office?
I know they do. They do have a good communication. HPO has good communication with the HPO office in Saipan, but again, it's basically it falls to the end. It falls under the Rota account, right?
Right. But I know they get some federal funding.
They do get some federal fundings, but not for fuel or not for probably for the fencing of the historic sites, things like that. So it's more like purchasing materials for that project to happen. But again, we have to do that project.
Okay.
As the staff, we have to do that. We have to go out and fix the fence ourselves. So that's how we operate in the GCCA due to our lack of budget. So again, we're just trying to help the government at the same time, help our people and the department to strive and continue to give the services until we start to have, until the government has the money, and then we can rise again. So for now, we're just doing our best and just making sure that government operation operates.
Yeah, thank you. I understand. What about the equipment, that you have, such as any maintenance equipment
So
is that,
currently, right now, we have 2 vehicles that are down due to battery problems. We have, our batteries has run out and we can't afford one. We're trying to ask to, inside by the secretary to help us, get funding just to get our vehicles up and running again. So right now, we're currently operating with 2 vehicles, and we're doing every historic site and admin and the sports.
okay, no, so let's focus on just HPO. The equipment that you have under HPO, do you have like riding mowers, bush cutters, all of that stuff? Are
Currently, we
those
have one
under,
rading more.
those are under HPO?
Yes,
Are
bush
those
cutters.
federally funded or less
Yes,
local?
Yes, I believe so.
So, and then even the vehicles are under HPO?
Yes.
Are the 2 that are down, are those under HPO?
One is under the Arts Council and one is under the admin.
So the HPO vehicles are still in operable
Yes.
condition? I know that, or it sounds like a lot of these equipments were purchased by HPO, maybe through federal grants. There's no support for those, equipment
Well,
that you're aware of?
sometimes we can say, Mr. Chairman, why we're talking about HPO so much is because the account for DCCA is under HPO and the sports division. That's what they use to put our operations in. Is the account of HPO and sports division is being used for the DCCA. So they don't give it to each division. It's just that account for under the central government is under HPO and sports.
I understand. I'm more concerned about, the support and resources being provided to the local HPO office, seeing as how the main HPO office receives grants and grants are funneled to them. And so, there's always a concern that a lot of these monies are not funneled through, or they're only, it was only meant for activities on site plan. And so we wanted to ensure equity and also to see what, if there are any challenges in trying to get some of these monies, or assistance from main office.
For me, speaking with the staff of HPO, yes, there's just a little challenge where they getting support, from their counterparts. That's the challenge right now. They are currently looking for fuel. HPO is again looking for fuel because of the sites that they have to maintain. So currently we have to maintain like 6 sites of which is their historic sites, and that's right now the riding more is currently down due to belt and theft. So our starter has been stolen, was hampered in the office. So again, we're just hoping that we try our best to secure our equipment as much as we can. Again, due to lack of spacing, lack of storage. So we have a storage, and we're currently, they're asking us if we can move our stuff out due to customs being short in office space, and they're asking for that space. So those are things that we're going through right now, is spacing and safety for our equipment.
Okay. Thank you. Floor is open to any other member. Recognize Senator Babacan.
Thank you, Chairman. First, I want to commend DCCA, Rota, HPOs in particular for, maintaining all the historical sites. You guys have worked hard and not given the praise you deserve. So I want to thank you for safeguarding cultural sites for Rota and, to honor our rich heritage, Chamorro heritage, and for future generations to enjoy. So thank you for that. And also I want to thank the entire island of Rota, because they do help out maintaining. I've heard the mayor's office is involved, MVA is involved, HPO, so that's important to continue so that the preservation, of our historical sites, which are living testimonials of our past, ancient past, is preserved for future generation. You mentioned that you use one account, specifically HPO, let's say for fuel or operational costs, or
For the department.
yeah, it's lump sum into just one
Yes.
account. And redundancy is not necessarily a bad thing. I think in this situation, it's important to create a redundant account under a different division,
Yes.
only because if that account is restricted for any reason, especially with newness being as confusing and daunting as it is, I just want to make that recommendation. But I will also caution myself, and maybe you guys have tried that in the past and it hasn't worked, so whatever works for you. But that was just something that came, popped up in my head. The other issue where redundancy is not necessarily a good thing is the redundant operational costs in terms of bush cutting. We hear the mayor's office does bush cutting, MVA does bush cutting, CPA does bush cutting, HPO. And to me, that is cost prohibitive. Everybody's asking for fuel for their bush cutting especially. We just got done with DCCA. Even DCCA does bush cutting.
Yeah.
So perhaps maybe a centralized system
Yes.
would work better, and maybe, assign different offices for the northern, southern part or central part of the island would be more efficient, an efficient use of very, very limited resources here in Rota.
Yes. Yes.
So I wanted to make that recommendation, because we keep hearing bush cutting. Everybody's doing bush cutting.
Yes, I mean, if the central government can, we have, again, money to hire, I guess, our own maintenance or as one division maintenance where they could.
Well, it doesn't necessarily need to cost the government new FTEs if perhaps maybe the system could be centralized under the mayor's office.
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
And
But usually here in Rota, the departments, if you're taking care of that area, you're gonna clean that area. If we're.
I appreciate that.
We're
and
doing
I-
the sports under the basketball court, like District 1, then we're gonna take that.
And I appreciate that, because that's lending a hand to
Yes.
other divisions or departments that may
Basically, it's like
need
Parks and
help,
Recs,
right? But
right, Parks and Recs.
perhaps if a database can be centralized through the mayor's office, we won't be duplicating
Yeah.
and being redundant, and because it's cost prohibitive. Gas here, fuel is so much higher here than anywhere else in the Marianas.
Yes, that's true.
So maybe that's something that needs to be looked into further, because maybe, the old practices are no longer working
That's true.
for today's world. So perhaps looking at it from a different point of view would help Rota reduce their costs in fuel.
We will look into that, thank you for that.
Thank you, I appreciate that. What else did I have? Oh, the other option is, aside from centralizing that particular job, because I know there's a lot of sites to maintain. So aside from centralizing that system, to help locals here and to help Rota's economy, perhaps outsource it to locals who already have that business.
That's true.
If any here, I don't know that there are
They do
a
have some,
lot
but
of care maintenance services.
They do have, but again,
Because that relieves the government from the burden of the fuel, if you have a contract. Yearly contract that the contractor is responsible for the fuel. That relieves, that's a burden taken off of your
we
shoulders.
have looked into that too,
Okay.
times, but again, due to, again, the funds again for us, maybe we can go through the federal again, like that, federal assistance on our beautification for our government facilities. That's thank you for that.
Those are just some of the things, I've been an advocate of downsizing the government. I think it's overbloated. So I'm in favor of, we come here for this budget hearing, and to be honest, it's very depressing.
And also,
Because-
I've heard too with some of the staff where we can tap into DPL, like what you guys mentioned in
See,
the last year.
DPL also does bush cutting here.
Has an obligation to assist the,
But sports and rec division does not have a mandate to do bush cutting.
no.
I
telling you
agree.
that, No, I know that too, and I've read that their duties and responsibilities, and there is nothing.
So that's what I'm saying, maybe a centralized
Maintenance,
system would be more efficient and, better overall in terms of cost for the municipality of Rota.
That's,
There are other divisions that do not have that mandate, but we appreciate you maintaining these sites. As a visitor to Rota, I appreciate the cleanliness when I come here. So Rota is to be commended for that. But like I said, perhaps maybe a centralized system in terms of bush cutting.
okay,
would
we'll
probably
bring that up
work.
with the mayor too, and other, and secretaries, and see if we can.
That way divisions don't have to come here every year and beg us for fuel.
Yes, and
Yeah,
that's
but
what
that's
I
one
noticed.
burden
We usually-
off of your
We
shoulders.
usually do this, we usually say that in the hearings, and that's what we're asking for, fuel.
And I get it, it's
And I know
costly.
I know we can do another way, like you're saying, recommendation.
It's
I know
costly.
it's hard work, and it's costly, and just time, and so
Exactly.
we just have to use it wisely.
It's time consuming.
Yeah.
So those are just a couple of the comments I had for today. Prior to this hearing, we mentioned to you about the $6 million for HPO disaster. It's a disaster grant. We finally got the information. It's a disaster grant, $6 million. It was awarded in FY 2023. And I encourage DCCA Rota to pay a visit to the secretary in Saipan to ask about this funding. Because I know there are ongoing projects right now in Capitol Hill utilizing this grant, but I don't know and I haven't heard that Rota or Tinian got a piece of this pie. And I know there are a lot of historical buildings here that could utilize this.
So just hearing this today, it just gave me an idea for we have one mission that we're actually trying to do. HPO has, from the past years, have been digging up bones from our ancestors from every village of the United States. And we're currently right now holding it in all these boxes in our storage, and we want to put them in the right place with maybe like a little monument and things like that. And that we want to do that. But right now, we get funding, and thank you for that. I didn't know that. Maybe we can go ahead and communicate with the.
I think that's a very good idea. So, Rota
And that's been 20 years since we.
Zaman
still
Pipina,
holding it
no?
till now, yes. We still have it
We
in our storage.
believe that,
Um,
and I think it's important to honor our ancestors. Zaman Pipina, no
So we need to get it
Destroy
to
most.
research. And it's a long way to, and
Yeah.
we'll,
But I encourage you to go visit DCCA secretary immediately and request for these fundings. That's all I have. I don't have much questions. I mean, if there's zero for operations, what am I gonna question? How are you gonna use your zero, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have much questions, but recommendations to help you guys out as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Bell. I recognize Senator Mendiola.
Me too. Just two questions really, or one statement and more. Just to clarify on the sports facility here by the children's park, is that court been taken care of?
Right now, we have a plan for that. There are some stuff that we have, laying around, and we wanna rehabilitate it. But I believe there's a grant that the mayor is trying to work on the DYS, which is the basketball court right behind the court, and children's court.
So no.
But right now, no.
Okay, and I just wanted to point this out because a few concerned constituents in Rota just kind of pointed that out, for us, at least the delegation, to try and shift funds to help revitalize that so we can have more youth doing something, some kind of sports activity. So with that, knowing that it has not, our recommendation is probably just get all the documents in terms of what we need and funding to just get that rehabilitated. And I'm not talking about the entire infrastructure. It's more just to put like a board and a rim so that kids can have something to do. So get that together and something that you can push as a priority to the delegation. And if anything, I can.
And
Yeah.
get that to you.
Yeah. So that's something that it's been addressed. Of course, we want to have our children have something to do here in Rota. So yeah. Another thing is HPO. I know you guys do a lot of these site maintenance, and I know you guys do get federal funds. And again, this is just ideas. We're just tossing out ideas, something that you guys can look into in terms of requesting for grants. And maybe rather than just the HPO officers or personnel doing the actual site cleanup, maybe do a assessment on what it would cost to try and include this in the grant funding to just contract the services out. So that way we can also create small businesses for other people to have some kind of business activity, and through taxations, we can try and get that and build our taxes here in the municipality, rather than just, overstretching our government by just doing all these repetitive work, and maintenance. And I, like you just mentioned about, we got all these historical bones that, you guys are, just storing. The chair mentioned about, pena, and that's something that's really serious in our culture. So, rather than focusing on site maintenance, maybe we can focus on programs to try and put these bones to rest. And like you said, build a monument so it could be also a tourist site for all the bones that were collected. So something to just think about how to translate that service that the HPO provides into a contract where you can just contract it out to somebody that has a yard cleaning service, and just maintain this. It might be cheaper because now you don't have to pay.
I would really like that. I would really like that.
And remember, it's a lot cheaper because you're just paying the services. No, you're just paying the services. You're not paying for, your Medicare or all those taxes that comes with just having an employee. That kind of exceeds a little bit more on just funding. But if we just contract it, who knows? I'm not sure, but in a year, maybe it's 20,000 versus paying 5 employees to do it at 100,000. You see where I'm going? Just something that you guys can look into. I got it. Funding is always a shortfall, but maybe something that we can add into the grant. We need this money to actually contract this out so we can sustain this responsibility. Just something that I wanted to add. That's it, Mr. Chair. Acting Director, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Senator Mendiola. Anything else from any of the members? All right, if there's none, thank you, Acting RD, for your time here today. If there's anything you feel like you've missed or we did not get to discuss.
Okay, I just want back to the operations. I know it's zero has been allocated, but we are having issues too with our divisions also in like communication. So we are currently using one Wi-Fi for all divisions, one phone for division. Besides food stamp, DYS, the aging center, they do have their own. So so in one office there is HPO, Lehab, Sports and Arts Council are in one, and the main office with the admin. And we are using only one phone with one internet service. So if every supervisor from the respective divisions, we have to go to that one office and use their computer. Like I using computer, can borrow. So to do our part. So that's the challenge we're going through right now. One phone, the admin will answer the phone, then speak to HPO, then go to the office. HPO, phone call, go to Arts Council, got a phone call. So currently, Lehab right now is paying for that one phone and that one internet service, which the divisions we share. So that's the challenges we go through. Sometimes the admin is very busy with their computer and we can't use it, so we have to wait and wait for the AO to finish what she's doing and then we come and use it. We have our computer, but we just don't have the connection to our computers for the divisions. So those are the challenges we go through in the department.
Thank you. Has there been any discussions with maybe, I know it's like going backwards, but maybe like combining some of these federally funded agencies to allow for some cost sharing of some of the expenses?
No, we tried asking like for example, like the food stamp, no, they can't, they can't do that. They can't be paying for other divisions, communication.
Well, it's not necessarily paying for, but more like sharing with,
We tried
for
that.
example, like if
We tried.
if DYS was, stationed where your office is at, that one Wi-Fi could support, you know what I
So
mean?
right now, Lehab is the only ones that has the Wi-Fi, and Lehab is the one sharing to the admin, to the HBO, and to Arts Council, but to one computer.
Right.
So that's the challenge.
Okay,
And the Wi-Fi won't reach to our division office.
okay.
We tried doing that. We tried. ITNE had that, but it won't work because we're too far.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I stated yesterday that this lump sum payment into the mayor's office is something that we will have to really look at and see if that would be the best approach or to kind of pass some of that on to some of the agencies to support that. But with the understanding again that, now the agency will be limited to the whatever, funds we do end up appropriating. But that's something that we'll discuss during our deliberations, and thank you for sharing that. And again, if there's anything else that you feel we've missed or you maybe or wanted to bring up that we didn't bring up today, please feel free to reach out to any of the committee members. All right, thank you, Acting Director.
So I just want to thank everyone, senators, thank you, and legal counsel and staff. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you. All right, members, at this time, we will go ahead and squeeze in DPW right before we take off for lunch. And so I will take a 2-minute recess for the RD to get settled. Short recess. everyone. We now rise back from recess, and up next we have the Department of Public Works with the Resident Director, George Athlete, here with us this afternoon. The Department of Public Works requested a budget of $646,000 for 22 FTEs, but the governor's proposal maintained the FTEs at 539,000. I would have to maybe assume that this is under the 80-hour work period, Mr. Athlete, but I may be wrong. That's something that maybe you can clarify. The department had also requested for 200,000 in operational costs. And then I know there's another division, the solid waste, but that falls under the main stipend account. And so at this time, before we proceed with any questions, RD Athlete, I would like to hand the floor over to you for any statements you would like to provide.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members. My name is George Athlete, Resident Director of Public Works. Buenas.
So maybe Mr. Athlete or RD Athlete, if you can just, I know that the biggest challenge you have right now is that FTE, that one FTE. It was brought up in the mayor's office. It has been shared in our, leadership meetings that is still the challenge now, is that one solid waste employee or position that was zeroed out and removed from the budget. Is that something that you're still trying to push for?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, it's very critical. Solid waste, in manpower, pretty much, one of our employee, has a medical issue. So there's total of 5 of them, including the secretary, the admin office. So 3 of them, mostly with the supervisor, including the supervisor. It's very critical. We have the green waste to monitor, and the main site is the dumping site. So manpower, putting that FD or putting that, back into funded, would really help the landfill and so forth with the equipment and monitor the sites. So it's very, I brought it up with the Ways and Means name to, really look into that and, with the secretary and find a way how to fund it back. Because critical back the solid waste.
Thank you. You've made several requests for some of your operational expense. Right now, all the equipment that you have under your department, are they all in working condition?
The roads and grounds section, we have the Nueva dump trucks again. So, we're so glad we have it before the CPA, So, equipment, roads and ground, we're still, we have the old MOMAC, they're still, fair condition. Service truck, we got a backhoe, the case. The old backhoe is not inoperable. It's, it's down as we speak. Grader, we're still waiting for parts. That's for roads and ground. Pending equipment, we have new equipment, graders and a payloader. It's forthcoming. It's due next month.
Okay, so it's already been
Yeah.
purchased. Are there any
solid waste, Mr. Chairman, members know, we don't problemata equipment, they're down for maintenance right now, waiting for parts. Total equipment, roads, solid waste are not in operating. So I made that call to close the dam just to lessen the impact. Get dumps. If we don't do that, they need to be done. No, it's gonna be all over. So even before that, when we need to be done, it's just sit out. I didn't have the direction, after work and weekends. So now we're closing it. We open Monday to Saturday. So all the equipments for solid waste are waiting for parts right now.
Have these parts that have already been
Payment
that
from Halpern, just waiting. We're expecting 17 of this month, but as of yesterday, how's up, Trebiano?
so it's all been purchased, it's just a matter of the order
Payment,
coming
yeah,
in?
from Treasury. I guess.
Oh, okay. Are there any services that you've suspended due to these, due to maybe lack of equipment on some of these services that your department provides?
So far, the most used for service is the dump truck. That's what's the most on the tractor slasher. So we're pretty much, we're still moving with this equipment. They're still fair operating.
Okay. And what's the update on the highway?
The highway, the secretary, the company Radicom, I'm not sure they'll change the contractor. So I'm not sure, that's really with the secretary and then the main office in Saipan. Isagan is the contact person, but every time you ring that guy, he's always out of the office, not answering. So the secretary is, they will change the contractor for about 10 project.
Okay. Now, we have our schedule for the DPW main office, so I hope that you can share some of the challenges and concerns that you're having in communicating with them so that we can bring this up also. So I'm already hearing that you're unaware or not fully aware of what's going on with the highway because I know it's pending some decision maybe, but as far as maybe even with solid waste, is that something that you're having a hard time getting the support to getting some of these parts for your equipment?
So far, we ended up, finding lapses. So that's where we're at now. That's what I'm using it. It's about 46. So that's pretty much just I'm just waiting for those parts to be paid for in the company and get things situated. So far, I'm still working. I was gonna offer CNCA, just get quotation and I'll get the battery for you guys, just to get your things going. I don't have a little, but helping, it's not bad. So I'll check him out later.
And I know one of your department uses up like the most fuel and lubrication in terms of diesel and gasoline. How have you managed with that this past
So
current fiscal year?
Yeah, we procured it when we get 20,000 for Sweden, that's a 10,000. Yeah, PLL. So PLL diesel and hydraulic oil, engine oil. So we're like 2,000 and stuff so far.
Where's the 20,000? Where did that come from?
It's 46 out of the lapses from OMB. We I just happened to was having a conversation and I was looking to any lapses that anything from our department. So
For the current fiscal year?
no, correct. Yeah, so we have like 46. So I have a balance of 7 so far. So
Okay.
those fundings are pretty much just how we
You've been able to manage.
manage some parts, fuel.
Okay. The last report we have of what was reported in the budget submission shows a revolving account operations and maintenance under the administration. It has a balance of 143,000. Does that seem accurate to you?
To Chairman Townsend, I'm not sure, no. I mean, I'm trying to, I've been, trying to talk directly to Director Abby and OMB and trying to, figure out, trying to, find other means, like looking into all those funds that we know supposedly for the PW Rota.
Yeah, it looks like there were some activities that happened here. Looks like there's an expense of about 130,000. So if anything, before you leave today, maybe we'll give you this project string number and you can verify with finance, maybe even central finance, to see if those monies are still available and how you're able to tap into those funds.
The funds for Gandhi Hulu back road, Route 100, the last I heard, I'm trying to find, the code and everything, it's like, but I'm still trying up until now. No.
What funding is this?
There's a funding that was funded for road repair, Gandhi Hulu back road.
Road repair?
Road repair, it's about 115,000 is it?
Do you know where that money came from?
It was allotted for road repair para hulistic water cave. So I'm still trying the ways and means no so I'm still trying to maligos
Do you think that's based off memory of something that you've heard and discussed about, or do you have like any documentation as to?
No documentation.
Okay, we'll try to look through all the list of revolving accounts and see. Maybe this could be the one that I'm bringing up, but that's something that we'll verify. But we'll share with you that account number so that you can also verify with finance. So you said the dump, there are operating hours now for the dump.
Yeah, 8 to 4.
Since that, since implementing those hours, have there been any increased cases of illegal dumping?
So far, there's smoke, but it's not that Spanish boats that they just, come in and dump right there next to the container. So I know it's going to be an impact, and basically we're expecting that it's illegal now.
Okay. Now, do you guys have funds at least to? I know you've done your best in trying to patch the potholes that we see. I know we're also still waiting on the decision from the Secretary's office in regards to the main highway, at least parts of it, right? But in terms of what you are able to do to fix up more of these potholes, are you facing any challenges in trying to procure whatever supplies you need to fill that? I know like there's one right in front of ads that is really big. I know there's a cone there, but it hasn't been filled. Do you have any challenges there in trying to cover some of these deep potholes?
It's just, especially this weather now, it's not no seasonal. It's going to be a big challenge, There's, we've did some, small scale, trying to, build cement tonight. It's still breaking, but doesn't make cement to it needs the solid, asphalt, I guess,
Is it something that you can maybe procure from Radiocom, since they've already kind of paved the part that they opened up and used some of that material to cover some of these deeper holes? Is that something that has been discussed or can be worked with Radiocom?
Yeah, I'll look into that.
Because they still have some of the materials to make the asphalt, right? It's just a matter of passing inspection and stuff like that. But seeing as how they've already covered a small portion of the main road that they were testing on, can they use some of that to cover some of the holes in the rest of our roads? And so, I mean, maybe if you had that discussion with Radiocom, and if they come back with some kind of price, and we can try to see how we can at least fix up some of the parts that may be too dangerous for the vehicle operators.
In the beginning, no, actually, before they started to, do the cuttings, I did reach out to them. I asked them, but they did a few, but eventually they just cut it off. So I know that's not really their, okay, so they gave me a bucket of asphalt. Look, I need a bigger torch to melt it. So
Okay.
I did, and tried to reach out to them.
Okay.
So I guess I'm back to square one. Cement to pack.
Yeah. Okay.
I got the cements already, so I'm just waiting for
With the weather
the
to.
weather to fair.
All right. Thank you. At this time, I open the floor to any of the members, and I recognize Senator Mendiola.
Thank you, Chair. Malagas de Faisen Policy, because eu acho que put personnel, ban mababa position, pos man mahutso, no, pos mababa talo, pos guaman man apply, man certify, pos ta find out na taza sa lapenya. Kogagay gi azo na situation gi department para esta ma-address.
Solid waste, está aí comando man address.
Pos di solid waste.
Solid waste,
Sa afa situation niya bago no na
unfunded, is it?
unfunded.
Yeah.
The Kogwa any position is the still pending is on no
Yes.
Zafara
He coordinator, he roads and ground coordinator.
coordinator.
He last known influence with the governor's office for signature.
The station position gives us this I know na ba man available position in tinay win play option the but to suspect na importante na position pa
Está no fila again, no senator. Está no i coordinator apago i papel niya.
Ipapel niya.
In promote ulo coordinator from equipment operator for ulo so that's it's a
Lo taza problema niya zo unfunded.
Okay.
But initially no gining guy problema zo na team fund.
According to OMB law, eventually they came back and said, it's good to go. It's solid waste, no?
Posi solid waste unfunded.
As you.
York true. Pabifacina por este highway. Hadzi proof is no any contracting pavement para ko luta but
Central.
Central. Zanema preba i contract ne para ma togi itu. Hadzi musu supervise para finished product
See, Sagani, he's back and forth, throughout his operation is a radio company, so he's the contact person for still a project. See, David, the technical service, just to announce it, but see, Sagani is
and mona na rason no mention is ane gifinena na muna zanzuna na pavement utuma na mas bumarangkay highway giane mapave giane timapave za kolanong kulo na concern lo mabira siya za marekla but still unacceptable na pavement gay genozing gizot na main highway za don't kulo na concern pero ginani zotlan no emergency responders no man marerese no na concern na kung sa kaso man respond siya za man matugeno na lugar ne uzo de bino avoid sa sinya man hydroplane or sinya no guma problema mas tongkulo yalumi sinya emergency response so malago na probe mention ni kosiki sinya ta address loki na anga no contractor mabibit atan sinya no qualification magad ko magad na sinya matsugit so sa ano natan zung pavement tio na ti suffice no ti meet standard para goni ti experts o gini giban na pavement lo di pabesigo na kretao gilezo utunga na ti tagi pavement dito za patagasta mararan salaki za ti meet standard kulang ti madzeno na klasen so something na maybe sinya ugo na address directly para siya na nayo na oportunidad za ugo para na address lo ki gini tanota azina contractor para manay kosiki an matui situation ni parang fanopi na sinya mas fanopi ki para tahu kan sian no. So just an issue that I wanted to raise. I know again a couple months ago when the first one was in Zoom, it was it became a hump on the highway rather than an actual smooth pavement, and it's more alarming and concerning. So I wanted to address that.
The secretary no Senator Magat no he has a plan to get no I think so the GPPC will be the contractor for it's gonna be added they still route 10 and they route no 100.
So ko gua penalty galo menno ni tiami di standard ko sinya pago tabire pe contractor ni tiami di standard pavement sinya pago ta address no na ko gua recruitment gisalapi ni tanayo sa tiami di standard ko is there a metric ni sinya ta ina okay tiami di standard we meet the standard pus gilo no be tuli estina amount sa ti un meet no standard be pull out a contract is almost the liability of incurs na funding sa to meet the standard goal. Is there any?
Is that no? Senator Magat ma penalize the company already come delays on the contract no is on that they've been going to I mean throughout is on no time they're being penalized.
Pues naturally next gua siya zabe be mention sa gua siya organizing constituents linya inanya i companya estão tumua na the expert pavement radio come no kulang communication is unya expertise lo manay no pavement na uso sa tatungo agi true inanya na ti man expert gano gi man lane pavement. So this is some of the concerns that are moving in the constituents, and I just want to make sure I address to you that something in the future you can think about and matutot sandos and state no na yo looking opportunity for ina za from decision. He's almost looking recommendations algo matan di PW gini DB iziki mas no na palavra mas zamona nasa algo mo address directly concerns there versus is para no samani apa na ayestigi no something very important to address.
Senator meeting ama si Sagani zani secretary mga police na lebih ang ina anticipate offensive na decision sa long listed impact the delay so I mean kita tunong talang na investigate ni pro so abila tatis pinigigil DPW sa aming sa department no.
Thank you Magay, I just wanna I know this is all dealing with funding na para talo kontubayam ni delegation meetings and the state put no salapi no pavement gini están communique halfway in mami turns still taza action then nigi dongkul na issue siya madredress ito tota but mas like I said is the emergency responders ni pavement it's really badly dilapidated so afa planuta para nigi ko guarded the funding ni federal ni sinya ta logistic that can surface some of this. Sta control tagon to control highway sempre mabubushka ginilita. Manjugo na wapak sempre control highway sempre ta tutun bumushka sta gwa tagon mandodo ko in between the cracks and crevices the highway. So something that we can address directly in the states. I know now we get federal funds, but I use the federal highway. So I just wanted to bring that up. Yotru manariglan I know I mentioned it but istishe cemento gi manariglan salam no za one mention the gizaza cemento no conducive para seguir mariglas over time you're constantly going back but recently kulang witness or usoda siya na kulang na zizi gravel manufactured sand compact dili papa izoko concern izoko para defense no ko the taza concern nizi in the department nizi sinya zona afazana manufactured sand como utsan malogo no the mas umadi loose gravel the highway sand you're talking about manufactured sand the loose lo you're just filling potholes pues un kulang compact niya yun na lo tatunga na kunutsa na di malongo sa puja za mas pago talo zo post otro na threat di highway utunga na ti don't kulo na problema pago but I'm just malagwas to be addressed directly sa witness that ko na ani manyugun zolo liko como man respapa ni for example polícia ulo né za you know pointing at the paros za bulula na luz grabo sinya cause further accident no that I think something that sita taina gini bandan man repair salon malingnya banti semento no sa masyano i tempo ni malofan falangos ne mas anoyo mas no stability kizi luz grabo né za I heard earlier na mo na guasta semento no
está bom.
no so something to just consider and in repair salon
Inside mga base course though, you know, it comes
Basta
with
ulo na
masno.
nasa
So we went back and used the
Manufacturer
manufacturer sa masno. It's less no impact here.
again o company director na unsatsagi manaligo manera ni pero na regla giafa na resources ginata pizza mga puro ta problema sa pizza ni afa za ta sangan gini giminalagotan ni di binatata ni ikahan sa lapti ko sinya again di utunga i department asutsogi na sinyanya lo di para taina si siya sa mga nawa problema mas tungkulo i manmamala natin po ni so ay mulagwa sa prevention ni sa prevention na tapolis siya on the record ni so but mas na mga to sa budget uli na what did mo no request no operational is something as never been deliberate ni fiscal affairs ano ni siya tanay mas dili mas siya pa financiamento for now or na mas
Basta ko 5 na, 7 no.
perfect no perfect so otro i solid waste utungo na gua movement para que instill fees malago de faz sinal como sa caso matano na tempo afamon gi natanmo número ilico dumping ko susteni tanota pa mas gumula sa pinane problema ni ilico dumping
Recommenda mga senator having last na meeting ni cabinet malaga tanah po na finena delivery no control sa muling time places ti finena sa prosecute finena lagi gihuna tano ta after the finona no tan tutuno man charge tipping fee
Pues gua structure gini man charge but I mean kami kalago ko gua hasta manayo a structure na fee charges and all that the ko defer luta ko otro presinya i manapasti para pandam luta versus sepan versus tiga pareho across the board
tumunod luta sa I mean i kada pick up no 3 pesos sa kada load so
pues
anong afazo anong trashback anong account sulit pues está no standard no
Pues,
3 pesos
pues atan gua ampliamos 5 no mencioné no earlier na gua ampliamos 5 yan ray solid waste no the gilo no ko gua or now na tauto no siya pero minani i solid waste is mo green waste and todo siya stina programa man mamela
it's yung that funded no pretty much magtigi percenti now
so the muna pa sinestil ko na sinya banti ta estige directly ta address ne yalo misti siya plano nesti para tana pata hatsa i standardizo ta solid waste no ta sinestige lo kita address directly na no banti tinaw misti na person na empleo pero sinya gi no na programa sinya no ayam tan uno na FT ni sinya ta address estige sa como sa caso un baba Monday to Friday con un zona toto para mapulan todos estige siya pues para na make sure na ang manazam mandam za fu para un zoning za para nagwamas campo para man mamayla sa I understand na is no employees na kada uno sinya man operate lo utuma nagwalo ki uno no bandan minolongo za multi-market no parokolo gano siya za is gonna malagos bedress ni something na sinya essential lo kita tafana sustain tafana zunda na ki tamano ni sinya noyam didi mas no So la PNS ti para tanang successful sti na program na sa talo no tala sinya tamande estilo wa mo pa ang effect no ezi wa siya na problema sa ang host para palitan for example ezi illegal dumping sa current no finance istao ni financial ini kita no tuma na to government sa sa
Once no senator ki na no permitted is the tatsuk don't feel no is pa ko dun gumogot ti gipandan no stick grants or whatever no na issue na sabat ta I water testing o possibly pues no uma permitted jadi sina ta regulate mas no pues sinahababa no mas no gi federal no oportunidad na Kasi tak pa no sa tuloy ki OPD tuloy sa in na fanalong tuloy siya fa ginagawa 23,000 na nisita para water testing.
O communal director sa utuma na kontuban reach out no para Sonic esti liga esti and kontuban man meeting para siya na programa na sa utuma na year unta titis esti mo na siya na programa na again abira kita tigi problema major taklo na problema lo salapi no so I understand that sige na mga to siya sa salapi sinya matong da matatsun sinya loki benaligozi mo ni sinya ta so dai di no siya no ti sinya be permit yo am taza gini lo
Wasi plata ki CIP so kaniti equipment ni tatsuli equipment si manual equipment was sobra 100,000 gigi CIP pues estaba komunikasyon ng selis na patalangos gigi 100,000
bonito
so
small
sabunti man software man salati no so ay para siguro na sige no sumulik niya so malalons
no director again malaga zona para komendam zona lagi na department na kontuban panani kamnya ni matatsun zo man number break ibois na za matatsun zo za kuntusi unratu na za max flipping za gona mas pick kazi zo na pago man popor roof no basta de lekoa in person pues no sa no vamos mention na jack of all trade master of none the mampus wa gradation ni sa gididi na pundun salapi na we're still pushing the projects one we're trying to get it done so I wanted to commend you guys on those
small papatawlo na basta tapos
yeah I'm tracking on agwa funding push para basta so yeah anyways again director ang kulo na si Jesus Masin
Thank you, Senator Manila. Just a quick clarification. Under the solid waste, that supervisor position, has it been vacated already?
Manager. It's, we have an applicant, so we should process monthly by next week.
Okay, sure. That's the one, but that one, there's no issues with
It was unfunded and, just hold back, yeah, we just let it go to set. It was unfunded. Then eventually they came back and said they apologize. According to secretary, no. Continua applicant.
okay.
So by next week we'll
Good to hear.
feel
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Any other member with questions? All right. I think that's all we have for now. RDN. I feel like I know a lot of your challenges are within the solid waste, which is something that is being handled by the Saipan office. So we'll bring those concerns up with the Secretary of DPW. And then again, just to recap, going back on this revolving account or the special revenue that you can look into more to see if that's something that you have access to and that you can use to help with some of the needs for your department. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, is the revolving funding and technical service division what fees, building fees, no, eventually came up, the road cuttings were on the process right now, so it's time we just need the sub account, so it's gonna be anytime soon. I got a email from Honesty Finance, I guess here, Ryan Camacho. So hopefully anything that's additional para road cuttings, não creo na issue road cuttings, hindi problema niya village ma-tatag italan, and we keep coming back to them, no, for decision na issue na to address it in Manmazama.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's another revolving fund via the department.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and of course, thank you for all the work that you and your employees at the employees at DPW are doing. And I know you also use up your own weekend to take care of our roads as well, Mr. Anthony, and so we thank you for that. And so, if there's anything else that you feel you would like for the committee to know, please feel free to reach out to any one of the members or your delegation leaders so that we can try to help address some of the needs that are lacking here that maybe the Saipan office can assist with. So again, we are scheduled to meet with DPW, I think around the 9th, if I'm not mistaken, of August. And so until then, if there are anything you would like for us to get more information from with Secretary Yumut, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll bring those concerns up.
Mr. Chairman, the members mga puno reach out to the secretary regarding the registration fees and license fees. No, we was my conversation that I submit this kit then we share we share that we had meetings I believe we have shared in fees
For the vehicle registration,
vehicle
and
registration
license.
so I calculate 20,000 requests on the secretary. Well, that's a few.
Okay, ask our fiscal analyst to look into the fee structure for those licenses and the registration fees to see what percentage will go into DPW and then what percentage of that will be subdivided between the three municipalities.
It's only mas concern the secretary is, back and forth, tipping fee na, compared to the secretary na, hanggat mga, any para, sina, tanang kalamti ni, ilan fees, solid fees.
Okay.
Those are the things from
Okay, thank you again, Artie. If there's anything else, please feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, members, we have left, the two agencies we have left this afternoon is DPS and DFIPS, and so we will recess until 2:30 this afternoon.